Hey everyone, welcome back to the community. Come in, take a seat, get comfortable because today we're going to be talking about starting over in your 30s and why you need to do it. It is a pivotal, transformative time in your life that you need to go through in order to get to the next stage. And I'm going to tell you all about how I did it and everything that I learned. A little over a year ago, I made a video called Starting Over in Your 30s, and I'm going to leave a little clip here just to give you an idea of what that video was about. I was at rock bottom. I had just left a really stable career. I was unemployed. I just left a relationship as well, and I had just moved back in with my parents. I was just so totally lost, and I didn't know what to do next or even like what direction to even take a step forward in. I'm going to clip a little piece of the video and put it in right here. Today we're going to be talking about starting over in your 30s. I am 31 years old and I won't say I'm at rock bottom, but like I am pretty close. I've been in different situations like I've been down before. This ain't my first go around whatsoever, but I am finding myself here again. I am unemployed. um I have like no clear path of how to get to what I want to do. I don't really know what I want to do. I'm still like just figuring things out, like who am I? What do I really want to do? Like what do I want to do? Separate from what other people are doing and separate from what other people want me to do or have maybe expected me to do. I am just trying to make sure that my actions day in and day out align with the life that I want to live. Not what someone else wants for me, not what my parents always wanted for me or my family or whatever my friends are doing. Like, what does Amber actually want? So that is why I decided to make this channel and call it as Amber. I'm actually now taking off everything that I have picked up and carried along the way that is not me. I'm shedding myself of that and I'm living my life as Amber. It's crazy because I'm looking at that video and I don't even recognize who that person is anymore. My life has changed so much since that time, and it's really because of my mindset shift and a lot of the things that I learned in that time that I implemented into my life that has put me in a totally different position than where I was at that time. At that time, I saw it as a failure to be in that position in life because I felt like I should be a little bit more, have it a little bit more together by my age. But actually, I ended up seeing that time as such a blessing and a gift because of what it gave me. Like losing so much, like losing my job, losing my relationship, losing my independence by living back with my family. I lost so much. I lost my identity, who I thought I was, and the person I thought I was going to be. Like, I lost my sense of confidence. I lost a little bit of my self esteem, like how I felt about myself. I lost the identity of who I thought I was. And it's so funny because even though I lost so much, I gained even more because I allowed myself to go through that time. And I'm just so grateful because I feel like I could not have discovered these things had I still been in that job that I was in, or had I still been maybe in that relationship or in the place that I was previously. I don't think I would have been able to do the mindset shift or feel the need to. But being through this dark time of losing everything, that's what allowed me to realize the gift of starting over. Okay, so I'm going to share with you a few of the things that I learned or I gained or I changed my mind about throughout this period. And the first thing that I learned is you need to create space for an identity shift. And what I mean by that is I spent so much of my life in the identity of being in my past career. So I was a physician assistant. So my career was in medicine, and that is a respected field. I worked hard to get there. I shed blood, sweat, and tears to be in that career. And so I felt like I deserved it, and I did deserve it. I did deserve the title. I deserved the white coat. But at a certain point, especially as a Black woman, you really grasp onto that identity and you have a sense of pride for being in that position. Because for me, I know I made myself proud. I made my family proud. There's this quote like, you're your ancestors' wildest dreams. And you just know that being in that position comes with so much pride. So when I was in this position of losing my, of, of quitting my job and leaving that identity, I knew that I was questioning whether being a physician assistant would be something that I continue forward in. And that was difficult because all I knew was myself as this person, and it was hard for me to even allow myself to think of myself as something other than that. So in this time, I really had to be okay with other possibilities being out there for me. I had to give myself grace to possibly allow myself to think of myself as another person. So that involved dreaming up something different, visualizing something different for my life, and being okay with the possibility that there could be something else out there for me. Honestly, once I allowed myself to let go of that previous identity and allow myself to just dream and visualize, then so many ideas came to me. Like my brain was just so much less cluttered with previous expectations and thoughts. And I felt like the path was just clear for me to even say, okay, I'm a multifaceted person. What else is available to me? I don't have to stay in this one position, in this one career forever. I trust myself that I can be other things. So I'm just grateful for that time because I don't think I would have been open-minded enough to see anything else other than medicine because of how hard I worked to be in that. And of course the sunk cost fallacy comes into play when it's like I invested so much time and energy and grit and just hard work and dedication into this career. Do I really want to give it all up? And in that time I was able to see a way in which I can still hold on to that identity and be proud of it, but also visualize and create other dreams. Okay, so the second thing I learned from being in this dark space is that what you know doesn't have to be where you go. So what I mean by that is all I knew at the time was medicine and having that medical background. So in the past, I really thought that I could only go into spaces and pivot into spaces that my resume could allow me to go into. So my resume had medical experience on it, so I really only thought I could pivot into medical careers. And there is a part of that that is true because a lot of times when I would apply to these jobs that were not medical jobs, my resume had medical experience on it. They probably just threw that thing right in the trash, okay? But here's the thing, I never presented as anything other than this medical person. So of course, that's how everyone received me. Like my LinkedIn page and my resume, and when I would network to people, all I would ever say is that I am this medical person, and that's how I presented, and that's how I wanted to show up in non-medical rooms. That obviously, so the problem was I thought the experience that I had to be where I was going. And so I took that experience and I took that past identity with me. It started to change when I actually started to present as something other than that. when I started to tell people what I was actually interested in, what I actually liked to do. And in the beginning, I didn't have the plan exactly together. I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do, but I knew what I was interested in and I knew what I wanted to move into, but I was kind of like shaky on it and a little bit afraid to admit it to myself. And so I wasn't really telling other people. I wasn't really sharing other people my actual goals and dreams. I really needed to start telling people where I was going and not where I had come from. Okay, this is where I want to go. Not this is who I've been, not this is what I've done, but this is what I'm interested in. This is what I want to dabble in. This is what I'm trying to get experience in. Because how do you expect doors to open for you if you aren't even able to articulate where you're trying to go? And then once I was even able to admit to myself the field that I wanted to transition into, then I was able to say it to other people, and that is when the doors started to open. It's only because I admitted to myself, I allowed myself to be okay with this new identity that I wanted to walk into, allow myself to accept that there could be something else for me, and I'm going to present as someone who wants to be something else. If you're going to go anywhere, you do eventually have to let go of your past identity. You have to release that in order to move forward into the next thing. And the more I tried to grab hold of that past identity and stay connected to it, the more stuck that I felt. Okay, the third thing that I realized after starting over my 30s is that making decisions out of fear feel anxious. Making decisions out of intention feel calm. And I want to be very clear when I say, I am not saying that when you feel fear, that your decision is inherently wrong. You need to be sure to make decisions despite fear, not make decisions because of fear. When you make decisions because of fear, it feels anxious. When you make decisions because of intentionality, it feels calm. Things start to make sense and the puzzle pieces fall into place. So I just want to be very careful with that distinction because you're going to feel fear. And in fact, you should expect fear. But what matters is what you do with that fear. Do you let it impact you in a way that doesn't allow you to move forward, to force you to make decisions that you don't need to be making? Don't allow it to control your decisions and control your thoughts. Don't let that fear cause you to make rash decisions that perpetuates the story of everything that's been going wrong in your life already, of the cycles that you've already been putting yourself in, the negative cycles, the toxic cycles. You're trying to get out of that because you're starting over. So you don't need to make rash decisions that will have you fall into that cycle again. If you know that career is not good for you, you need to start exploring other options, which requires you to be uncomfortable, let it expand your mind, and allow yourself to come up with different identities and different visions of what your life can be. Allow that discomfort to stretch you and expand you. You're only going to come out stronger if you go through this discomfort and your actual vision for what you actually want comes out of this time. So allow that discomfort, that ambiguous, fearful feeling inside of you, allow that to be a motivator to develop a new identity, one that you actually want, instead of going back into an identity that you're trying to leave and going back into an identity that pleases other people in your life but doesn't please you. Okay, and the last thing that I want to share, and the most important thing, if you don't get anything else from this video, please get this. Alignment is the answer. And you might not know everything right now. You might not know exactly who you want to be and the career you want to have and the city you want to live in and the money you want to make. You might not know exactly what that looks like, but you have an inkling. You do know what you're interested in, what you're drawn to, what you're good at, what you're not good at. You know what satisfies your soul. You know what makes you feel alive versus what makes you feel drained. Pay attention to those things. Those things are indicators that tell you at least which way to turn and what direction to slowly start going to. Alignment has many aspects to it. For example, you can have a job that pays you the amount of money that you want to be paid. So it can be aligned financially. But if you're going to go into that high paying job and it's a toxic work environment, and you're going to come home and be drained every day, and it doesn't give you the time to do the hobbies that you want, and it doesn't leave you with any energy to do the things that make you feel good, then it's not aligned. It's aligned financially, but it's not aligned when it comes to environment and energy and mentality. All of these things play a role in alignment. So it's not always just about the financial aspects. What is going to feel most aligned with the person that you want to be? And make decisions today that align with being that person. Say yes to everything that supports that vision of that person coming to fruition. And anything that is against that or does not align with that is a no. Taylor Swift has this lyric that I love: everything you lose is a step you take. Every time you say no to something that does not align, you're taking a step in the direction of something that does align. No one else can decide for you that career, that city, that partner. Those are all decisions that you need to make for yourself. And if it disappoints people, it disappoints people. But you know that you are in alignment with yourself, then it's always going to be the right answer. Okay, that was everything that I planned to share for this video. Just a few things that I learned that transformed my life after starting over my 30s. Like, I'm actually so proud of myself because I really, looking back on that past video, I'm a totally different person because I allowed myself to be a different person. I allowed myself to use the starting over period as a tool instead of seeing it as a failure. Because it's so easy to lose yourself in that and to mope and be discouraged and feel that blockade and do nothing. But I'm so happy that I decided to use it as a strategy time to set myself up for future success and to align my life in a way that's going to allow my ideal self to flourish and to thrive. So if anything in this video resonated with you, please leave a comment below so we can keep the conversation going. And subscribe to the community. I plan to make this a safe space to be able to come together and talk about what's really going on, things that feel uncomfortable to share with your family or your friends. Let's connect down below. And if you want to check out the full video starting over my 30s that I am referring to in this video, I will leave the link for that video in the notes below. See you in the next one. Bye.